Thank you, Council. My name is Jaymen Johnson. This is actually a subject I've only recently become aware of. I was not sure. I want to thank Councilman Knight, Collins, Pico for their tutelage on this particular subject and helping to educate me on this. I would have to agree. We just heard it in this last presentation. The very first thing that was said was, well, you just did it for Tuscan. I mean, so is that going to be what is going to be stated for every metropolitan district? And then my understanding for metropolitan districts are they're supposed to be providing something the city either could or would not provide. What are we talking about here? Are there new fire stations coming in? Are we talking about police substations? Is there some sort of trash collection that the city can't perform that these metropolitan districts are doing? I don't understand what it is that they're doing to earn these. And what it seems like more is that we are permitting them to... Councilman Pico pointed out to me that these houses, that these fees and these prices would be collected either way, but they would be collected on the front end. It would be a lot more transparent. The house would be marketed at $300,000, rather than these developers being able to put out signs saying homes starting in the low 150s or 200s like we see everywhere, and they're actually collecting all this on the back end. That's really what we're talking about here is the developers are going to get the money either way. I think all of us agree on that, right? They're going to get it one way or another. What we allow them to do is collect it from the taxpayers the next 10, 20 years, rather than enroll it into the initial cost of the house and being more transparent with the public. So that's what I see going on here. I'd have to agree fully with Councilman Murray that you guys are on a slippery slope to allow every other developer to walk in, and how are you going to be able to look them in the eye and tell them, no, we did it for the last 5, but we're not doing it for you, and we're not a biased council. No one's bought us. No one, we don't work for anybody, but we did it for these 5. We're not going to do it for you. It doesn't make sense. All right, thank you.
Mr. King?
Well, first of all, I think one of the things that we need to make sure we understand on this particular district, the cost of the improvements are almost $3 million. And those $3 million represent many of the improvements that are being done to the streets, the roadways, water, sanitary systems. The maximum that they can levy against is 1.17 was based on the assessment of the value, so they're not getting all their money reimbursed. They're putting an investment into the property, so they're putting an investment into the property that is being paid back by the people that go into the district, but the people that are going into the district are not paying it back entirely at all because it's being paid for by the developer, much of it up front. And so also the mill levy operating will be something that will be constrained and will not be able to allow it to go forward unless it is approved by the people. And the cost of the landscaping and those types of things are decisions that are made by the people in the Metro District. If they don't want any landscaping and they don't want to pay for watering, that'll be a choice that they ultimately have. It's right to make if they are in the majority of their district as far as the board that sits on it. So I think that this is a proper balance, and it finds a way to be able to put some of the landscaping and some of those things in and then pay for those as opposed to doing an HOA to pay for them.
Okay, let's vote.
All right. I guess one of my concerns is the amount of concern and amount of consideration afforded these metropolitan districts. I hear what you're saying, Councilman King. I saw some hoops recently jump through just so that we could continue to talk about this. And you pulled an old Parliament trick, voting in the majority, so then you could ask for reconsideration here. And that was all done so that it could be done in a timely fashion so that 4 gentlemen could vote on this before November, I believe is what it was. I hear what you're saying, Councilman King, about that it will be up to them to vote whether or not these are in place. But you're talking about 4 people at this time, unless I'm mistaken and we're not talking about the same property. But you're talking about the owners of the property, not the future owners, not the future residents. You're talking about the current owners of the property, which are the developers. Of course they're going to vote for that. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they? I mean, that's what we're talking about. Again, what we're doing is we're allowing them we're giving them permission to pull old sales tricks. We're allowing them to quiet the muffler, put a little sawdust in the gas tank, and sell us a lemon. That's really what we're allowing for. We're allowing people to sell us $200,000 and $300,000 homes and claiming they're $100,000. That's what we're doing right now. I wish that we would be more honest about it. I wish we'd be more transparent with the public and the people. And I wish that we wouldn't try so hard to appease the developers of the town. They should be working for us. They should be trying to get our money, not the other way around. I would have to agree with some of the statements here. They should be making their money on selling homes, not making their money with deals with city council. And that's what's happening right now. It really is. And you guys got to start being honest about it.
Mr. King?
Well, I will be honest about it. I was not persuaded by any developer to change my vote. I went and asked the questions to Peter, and I asked the questions that I thought were relevant for this issue, and I made my decision on my own choice, and no developer has ever approached me to force me to vote anyway on these particular issues, so that's not happening. These are not debts of the city. These are independent debts. They are not going to be ever go against the credit of the city. They're independent from that particular issue. And I think the issue for me was what is the best way for this property to be developed? Is it best for it to be developed in a way where you drive the prices of the homes up? And if the people go and borrow the money on that they borrow it there, or they borrow it through a way that it improves the district and it has some management system for it. The reason why I went for the change of the board and making sure that the people that are in the district have the right to vote is because they have a right to determine whether or not they want their taxation to go up. That is exactly what this country is about. It's representation and taxation that they get to choose.
Mr. Murray?
Now, this country is about the big picture, not the individual pictures. And this particular property borders Mark Shuffle. Now, we had a public discussion, and it was alluded to the fact that there was CDOT money to expand Mark Shuffle, and that is not true. You, the public, will pay for the expansion and the benefit of these developers with Mark Shuffle. None of this money is going in for that road. They're about to dump 141 new house owners back onto the road without compensation, though the developer is getting compensation for their infrastructure costs. So, ladies and gentlemen, be aware, the backside of this is you're going to pay for an expansion of Mark Shuffle as you were paid for on Powers. So a vote for this is a vote to tax you to improve Mark Shuffle. Be aware of that.